Neuropathy doctors. Let me show you how this doctor, Dr. Sanan, just broke $116,000 per month in collections in Davenport with our breakthrough Veronica-powered AI patient coordinator and lead driving system. So real quick, I'm not going to dive too deep into this. You can come and scroll down on this page and you'll see Dr. Sanan's full story, about 30 minutes about his whole story with us, the revenue numbers specifically, and behind the scenes into the actual numbers, which you could see here, we're showing on screen of our KPI dashboard with his stats. So I'm not going to dive into that. I just want to basically share with you some of the things that really made the difference for him and that allowed him to scale to $116,000 from $39,000 just 5 months ago. Okay. And really it's quite simple. It comes down to, number one, just the core fact that most chiropractic and even in some cases neuropathy business models are broken. They're simply broken. Most people price based on what their competitors charge, but their competitors too are broke. And so when we look at how these businesses are structured, they're not structured to factor in the ability to advertise, to go out, to pay money to get new patients, right? They're designed simply to make some money, but they're not even, they haven't even factored in a lot of times all the costs associated with it and how to really scale. And so, many times, and here Dr. Sanan charging, I believe he's charging about $50 per adjustment, with his chiropractic business, makes it very challenging to scale because when you're seeing 150 patients a week, we're only talking $7,500 per week. So to hit the glorified $83K per month, $100K per month, and really to grow beyond where you have a really sustainable business where you're not the sole operator and stuck in it becomes challenging, right? Because how much can you pay to acquire a new patient? Not very much then. And the cool and the interesting thing is that to acquire a neuropathy patient, it often costs about the same amount as it does to acquire a chiropractic patient. So, even in neuropathy, I tend to see that most people just way undervalue and undercharge what they could be, right? Because what's the alternative for neuropathy? Drugs? Possibly surgery, but it's really drugs for the rest of your life and in hopes that you're going to numb the pain enough and wake up one day without it, right? There's no real solution outside of what our offices are currently doing. And so how much would you pay to have your life back, right? And so a lot of offices just charge far too little compared to what they really could be too. And when you scale your pricing, right, you can make a lot more money as well. And it's not about all those people that say no. It's about the people who say yes. What would they be willing to pay? And a lot of times it's double, triple, could be more, right? And so first we really helped Dr. Sanan dial in his pricing. And we had to adjust the offer a little bit, what he was doing in office, the clinical stuff, how he was presenting and everything there to make it work, right? So you can command those high prices. And with that, we went ahead and also, refined the sales process. If we go ahead and we now double your pricing and then also double your close rate, that's 4x the revenue for your practice, right? 4x, right? Now, that doesn't even factor in, though, profit margins. The profit margins are far higher than 4x because your costs remain the same. So we dialed in the sales process. We basically refined that so that he could convert at a higher rate, set expectations well, and also then train a future team on doing so. He's now bringing on a case manager to really help with that. Part of it was financing companies. A lot of offices I see either don't offer them or they offer the wrong ones. They rely on Care Credit, right? And these other ones that have low approval rates and don't even finance very high amounts. And so just by fixing that, by getting a higher approval rate, we actually helped him implement a system that's guaranteed approval, right? We can close far more people, right? And we're not talking about those verbal yeses. We're talking about those people that actually pay, we actually collect money in, and they actually start the program. That's what we're talking about as a conversion. So we helped refine that, helped implement the financing companies and really improve that in-office process, and then what's really important is having everything tracked. And so I'll show you, I showed it here in this video, the tracking dashboard here, where we're tracking everything. And this is just part one. We've got a whole nother system that's actually we have for them as well, where we're tracking, the in-office processes as well. And so here you can kind of see we're tracking lead costs, appointment costs, booking rates, opt-in rates. We're tracking show rates. We're tracking actual conversion rates. And then we have another system where we track if they come into the office, what happens? Are they applying for financing? Are they approved? Are they, if they don't start, what's the reason? If they do start, what's the revenue? What's the collections? Did their spouse show up? Did they come in with imaging? We want to track everything, because there's a pattern that I've seen, and you've probably heard, what gets measured gets improved. What gets measured gets improved. So if you don't measure it, it's not getting improved. If it's not getting improved, what's happening? It's probably getting worse, right? And to reach a 7-figure practice, there's basically 2 things that I've seen to hold true. One, if you get your pricing right, if you structure your offer right and you sell, you might hit 7 figures just working your tail off by the seat of your pants, not knowing your numbers. But you will not get beyond that. You will not get beyond that. I have never seen a multiple 7-figure practice without good tracking. I've never seen an 8-figure practice without good tracking. I've never seen a business beyond that size without good tracking. And I'll tell you, you might hit it by working your tail off, but it is going to be miserable if you don't have it tracked, because you're not going to know what levers to pull to scale your practice. You're not going to know what's causing the results or lack thereof in your practice. You're not going to know what to focus on. And so you have to have good tracking. So this is kind of an example. We're tracking everything. We're tracking the costs. We're tracking the rates. We're tracking all of that. And we can see the changes over time. So we helped him implement this. And then this is basically our scoreboard. You wouldn't watch sports if you didn't know what you were shooting for, right? If you didn't know the score. Would you watch football? Would you watch soccer? Would you watch these sports if there was no score? It would be terrible. It'd be boring, right? This is the scoreboard. You have to have a scoreboard in business. So this is what we track. We have ad spend. We have it all compared. And then we have our targets associated with it based on, and we can reverse engineer back to what they need to be for us to be profitable, for us to be able to scale this thing. And here, this campaign is super profitable. So we have the tracking in place, the offer and everything set up. And from here, we can basically go ahead and turn on the ads, okay? Dr. Sanam was able to approve them all. We had it all tailored to his office. We have a thorough onboarding form, and then we tie in his story and everything, his treatments and everything into his office. So it's super customized. We're infusing his photos, his videos, and everything. And I'll show you some of the funnels in a second. But from there, we publish these high quality ads. Here's kind of an example of one of the ugly opt-in funnels, but it doesn't have to be pretty to work. It's ugly and it works. But basically here, you can see that they fill out their name, email, and phone number, and you can see the information is not pre-filled. Okay? So notice that. It's not pre-filled. They have to manually type it in. And it's off of Facebook. It's off of Google. It's off of TikTok. It's a separate funnel page. Okay? That means that we can control what happens after they submit this form a lot better. And we avoid any issues with getting the wrong information, the wrong phone numbers and all of that, because we don't just care about lead costs. Of course, it's one driving factor. We want booking costs. We want show costs. We want conversion costs. We want to drop those. So get more people showing up, not more leads. That doesn't, it's a factor, but it's not the whole pie. Okay? So super high quality ads. I don't have those pulled up here, but They're long, they're thorough. They drive to these funnels, they explain the offer, they pre-frame it, they pre-educate, and then they drive to this funnel page where the patient has to fill out their name, email, and phone number. They request an offer. We have all this tailored, the offer and everything. It's based on Dr. Sanan's market, as we do with all of our clients, based on the competition, based on what we're seeing in the market, and is totally tailored. We've got our team who does a bunch of research and frequently updates it to keep the campaign performing consistently and at a high level. After that, with Dr. Sanan, we're screening people out and we're driving up the lead quality so that when we reach out to them, they're more likely to pick up the phone, they're more likely to schedule. And so here's an example. We've got a series of questions in this intake form about their severity, about their condition, where they're dealing with it and all these different things, how it's affecting them. And so we're bringing top of mind a lot of these pains, a lot of these problems, a lot of these reasons, but then we're also capturing more information so we can screen them properly. It goes on to talk about financials and stuff like that as well. We create a ton of content for this. And so with Dr. Sanal, one of the things, if you watch his video at the bottom of this page, he talks about how patients are walking in trusting him. That allows him to convert at a higher rate. And that's really important to notice. And so, this is like an example.
What happens if neuropathy goes untreated?
Where we talk about the risk, the consequences of neuropathy not being treated. And this is really important because it creates urgency and it forces them to action. But it's also content, though. So now when they watch this and they review and they engage with it, they trust him a lot more. And so here's just kind of some examples, some video testimonials and stuff like that, and some Google reviews that we put over here. Picture of his team. They look super friendly, beautiful office, right? And so we plug in a ton of pre-education content. This is just, the funnels, but there's also like a 365-day email and text sequences based on the stage, thousands of emails and texts going out as well. And so understand this content then bridges the gap, because now it's going to help us get more people to show up. But really, when they do show up, what's most important is now they're going to trust us. And so we kind of force them to watch this because it's all over. We have them schedule online here. So they could call, they could schedule, but just an example here. And so there's tons of different content, a lot more stuff here as well. And then when they book, and we continue to send this to them before their appointment, they're seeing more content, right? And they have homework to review before they come in, educating them on the beliefs and the frameworks they must know are true to start care. Really important. We're basically going ahead and we're pre-handling objections, just like your sales process should do. We can do that in marketing as well. So pretty cool stuff. This is what it takes to drive really good leads and drive sales and all this stuff. From here now, my team in-house calls them all. Dr. Sanan talks about how patients don't even realize that it's our team. They think they're speaking to someone in the office. And it's really cool. We've got a really highly trained team who will go ahead and basically, they'll speak with these patients. They'll screen them. They go through a whole phone consultation with them, 15 to 20 minutes a lot of times, sometimes even more, going through their pain, going through their reason why they're getting started, going through their goals, and we bring all this top of mind. That's what drives a real shown appointment. That is the fundamental, okay? Now, on top of that, with Dr. Sanal, we've added in a prepayment. A lot of clients will do this, sometimes a credit card authorization for the appointment, which helps to increase it further and get a little bit more commitment. So they prepay for this first initial visit, okay? They'll give us their credit card information, and we'll go ahead and process the payment. What's really cool, though, is our team is super well trained, and so we get their spouses to show up. We have them filling out intake forms a lot of times, bringing in any imaging, that they might have for neuropathy. It might be something like related to their back and stuff like that. We have processes in place that Sanan has even rolled out where we can guarantee 100% of the time, a spouse to show up. It increases his close rate, right? Basically, that's kind of how it works. The team goes through their financial ability, their severity, their willingness to get help and all these different things, and prepares them for that appointment really well and kind of just further pre-sells them. And so it's really cool. And then basically, beyond that, all of this, and you can actually see here, I believe, is constantly getting tested. The ads, the funnels, and everything, we're constantly testing them, constantly refining them. And that is what allows the results to stay consistent. That's what allows you to scale up the ad spend, where now Dr. Sanand here, he's spending $8,000 a month on just Facebook. $8,000 a month, though, to make 80 to 100 plus is a pretty good return. And so, but one of the big things I see a lot of offices get stuck with is they tell me, hey, I worked with this company and it worked for a month. I worked with this company and worked for 3 months. We got a ton of leads, ton of people showing up, and then it dropped off. And it's because the marketing companies you're working with don't update the ads. They don't update the funnels. They don't roll out new content, new offers, new strategies that keep it fresh, right? But you have to. That's literally what it takes. And so you have to constantly be testing. It has to constantly be getting improved. It's just like I said, if it's not getting better, it's getting worse. If you're not growing, you're dying. If your content isn't constantly changing, you're simply like it's going to fatigue and it's going to fail. And so really important, we're constantly testing this stuff, constantly rolling out new stuff. And that's what allows us to continue to get good performance, right? Because as you scale, ad costs will actually rise because now you're hitting more of the addressable market more times, but this is what allows you to keep it controlled. And then we tie in other platforms, Google and stuff like that, TikTok and all these different things to assist with that. But there's a lot of room to scale as long as things are being handled correctly. And so we're constantly testing, preventing that fatigue. In his case, we're even rolling out other channels and assisting with that. I think he just added a billboard and different things. So kind of the whole marketing strategy. Now we're handling the calls for that. And the scheduling there. And so basically, and the tracking as well to make sure it's profitable. But basically that's largely what it is. And then just as where he is, as the profits largely now are reining in from a profitable campaign, we're scaling. And we're advising how to scale and helping him and assisting him to do so. So if this looks like something you'd be interested in, if you're looking to grow your practice to, these sweet $116,000 collected months and beyond, right? And beyond. If you've marketed before and it hasn't worked, or if you just want a proven system, possibly a proven treatment protocol and all that to roll out for your neuropathy practice or to add neuropathy to your practice and really grow it, I want to talk to you. So go ahead. You can scroll down on this page and book a call with me or my team. And we'll go ahead and dive in over 45 minutes through a deep consult on exactly what you're looking for, what the opportunities are for you, and then how we can help. So if you're interested in growing, go ahead, check out this calendar. Go ahead, just select a time, and then you could just come on over and basically just hit this continue button, fill out the form, and then we'll send you some information as well just to prepare you for the appointment. And to kind of share a little bit more about what we do. So looking forward to hearing from you. Hope this was valuable to you. Cheers. I'll see you soon.